This will be our first video in our MD60 topics. We're going to look at problems like those from 9.2, numbers 21, 25, 29, 33, 39, 41, 65, and 75. If you took MD10, this topic will look familiar to you because you did it there as well. So this is just a review of that topic. We're going to use both the addition and multiplication properties of equality to solve linear equations. So our first linear equation here that we're going to solve is 2a plus 3 equals 3. Just as a reminder, when you simplify, your order of operations looks like this. And we want to simplify both sides before we get started if we can. When we solve, we're going to use our properties of equality to go that way. So we're going to add or subtract to isolate our variable first. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Sorry, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. No x there. 2a is equal to 0. Now I'm going to use my multiplication and division property to get the variable a by itself. Divide by 2 on both sides. A is equal to 0. So that was our first problem. Now let's look at 3z minus 5 minus z plus 3 is equal to 0. Remember, I told you simplify first before you try and solve, so we're going to combine our like terms. 3z minus z is 2z. Negative 5 plus 3 is a negative 2. Now we're going to isolate our variable by adding 2 to both sides. 2z is equal to 2. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient of 2. And z is equal to 1. Now let's look at 7, 6, y minus 9 is equal to negative 2. So we're going to isolate the variable by adding 9 to both sides. 7 over 6y is equal to 7. And I'm just going to write this as 7 over 1. Left myself some space here to do my multiplication. We can both multiply by 6 and divide by 7 at the same time. Multiply by 6 over 7, which is the reciprocal of 7 over 6. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. And this 6 divided by 6 is going to make a 1. And this 7 into that 7 is going to make a 1. And I'm going to be left with y times 1 on the left-hand side. That 7 divided by 7 will make a 1. I'm left with 1 times 6 over 1 times 1 on the right-hand side. Y is equal to 6 divided by 1, which is 6. Now we have 7x plus 6 equals 5x plus 4. Both sides are simplified already. I need to choose a side to take my variables to. I'm going to choose to take them to the left-hand side. So I'm going to do that by subtracting the 5x that's on the right to make it a 0. And what I do to the right-hand side, I have to do to the left-hand side. That makes that a 0 and leaves me with just the 4 on the right-hand side. 7 minus 5 is 2x. bring down that plus 6. Because I decided to take my variables to the left-hand side, that means I'm going to take my things that aren't variables to the right-hand side, so the variables are isolated on the left. So positive 6 here, this is a plus 6. I'm going to get rid of addition with subtraction. That leaves me with 2x on the left-hand side. 4 minus 6 is a negative 2. We're going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. And x is equal to a negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1. Process is going to be pretty consistent for all these linear equations. I hope you see that. Now for one like number 39 from the textbook, 3 plus 22 is equal to negative 5 times the quantity 3x minus 5. So that right-hand side is not simplified yet, nor is the left-hand side simplified. So the left-hand side, I'm going to simply add these like terms to get 25. This right-hand side, I'm going to distribute the negative 5 that's multiplied over these parentheses. So negative 5 times 3x is a negative 15x. And a negative 5 times a negative 5 is a positive 25. I've already got my x's on one side by themselves, so let's go ahead and take the numerical part over to the other side. We'll change sides if it bothers us that the variables are on the right-hand side. And just take the next step, say negative 15x equals 0. We're going to divide by negative 15, and divide by negative 15, and x is equal to 0. All right. Negative 6y minus 3 equals negative 5y minus 5. Again, since I have a choice here, I'm going to choose to take my variables to the left-hand side by adding 5y this time to get rid of what's on the right. Put it over to the other side. Negative 6 plus 5 is a negative 1. Y. Bring down the negative 3. It's going to be equal to negative 5. I get rid of the subtraction with addition. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Negative 1y is equal to a negative 2. So I'm going to divide by that coefficient of negative 1. That makes a positive y is equal to a positive 2. And for our next equation here, we have negative 4x minus 5 over 3 is equal to 43 over 3. So we're going to add 5 over 3 to both sides of the equation, leaving us with negative 4x on the left and 48 over 3 on the right. We need to try and reduce that fraction. So 48 over 3. 48 is 3 times 16. 3 goes into 3 one time and leaves us with 16 over 1. which is 16. So negative 4x is equal to 16. Then we're going to divide both sides by a negative 4. And x is equal to negative 4. Last problem here for this video, negative 18 plus 26 is equal to negative 2 times the quantity, x plus 6. So we're going to simplify the left-hand side. We're going to simplify the right-hand side. Negative 18 plus 26 is going to be a positive 8. Negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. Negative 2 times a positive 6 is a negative 12. Let's get my variables away from my constants. By adding 12 to both sides. 20 is equal to negative 2x, which is the same thing as negative 2x is equal to 20. Let's divide both sides now by negative 2. And x is equal to a negative 10. All right. That's it for the addition and or the equality properties of addition and multiplication that we are reviewing before we get into solving some equations that are a little more complicated. Actually, let's do one more. I apologize, but let's do one more problem here that's also based off of this concept. It's just slightly more complicated, but we're going to do 9.1 number 19 as well in this video. Negative 3 times n minus 4 equals 9 minus 2n. Same idea that I need to simplify both sides first. So this is going to be a negative 3n plus 12 is equal to 9 minus 2n. Now I need to decide which side I'm going to get my variables to, so I'm going to have them on the left since I have a choice. Negative n plus 12 is equal to 9. Subtract 12 from both sides. Negative n is equal to a negative 3. Then we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. There we go. N is equal to positive 3. All right, that'll be it. And next time we will go ahead and come back and talk about some more problems like these. I've already introduced you to the general strategy for solving linear equations. So we'll go ahead and we'll just do those separately in the next video. We'll have a few examples of that. And then we'll talk about some special cases with some special identities after that. All right. I will see you for the next video.